Rasheed Wallace in today's NBA would probably be better than Giannis.
Why Giannis? I mean, they don't even have the same game.
Oh yeah, very different.
Height. I think it has a lot to do with the height there.
Okay.
You know, same. If you think about Rasheed's body and Giannis' body, if you take away Giannis's cuts, it's Rasheed's body, you know. But here's the thing. Unless you watch Rasheed or play against Rasheed, you don't know how good Rasheed was. If you go back and look at our 2005 championship,
I've watched it.
Rasheed was cooking me, he was cooking Tim, and all of a sudden they go away from him. These teams, when we were in Portland against the Lakers, he was cooking us. They go away from him. These teams that had all had Rasheed, and they didn't. If I'd have been coaching Rasheed would have been my Shaq. He'd have had 50 touches a game. Rasheed was so fucking good. And I say this to this day, out of everybody that had to guard, Rasheed will always be in the top 3 of the hardest and the toughest people I had to guard. And Rasheed was shooting threes. His left hand was nice. His right hand was nice. He had post game. He had an outside game. But the only thing that kills Rasheed is all those texts and his attitude. So people look at that. They don't look at his game. They look at his attitude, how he got in with refs and how he got taken. But Rasheed, this day and age, because the way they train and the way they allow guys to do things, Rasheed would have been up there, man. I agree with Iggy on that one.
Okay. I just thought it was, I can see that. You know, I watched a lot of Rasheed as well. And he, you know, what it was, he's 6'10", he could shoot the ball. He was, you know, he could put the ball on the floor. I just thought it was almost kind of a random name, even though Rasheed Wallace isn't a random.
Yeah.
But Rasheed's kind of been in the news, you know, coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, because he got the Lakers job. Yeah,
that's true.
I guess that's why it came up. And I guess I having watched plenty of the NBA when you guys played, I don't remember Sheed being that kind of player, and I don't know why.
Because he's always been with other good players. When he was on that Portland team, I think they had Scottie Pippen, they had Steve Smith, they had, you know, all these other players. Yeah. He wasn't a focal point. Every team he's been on, he hasn't been a focal. In Detroit, think about it. On that Detroit team, he was an all-star. You had Chauncey, you had Rip, you know. Yeah. He didn't really get the touches. And the thing that people don't talk also about Rasheed, great team player. You can't find a teammate out there that would say one bad thing about Rasheed. And if you ever got this chance to meet him, coolest motherfucking dude you ever want to meet. So nice, so genuine, great guy. So, you know, and these are things about athletes that people don't understand. They look at them on the court and see their persona on the court and think that's who they are off the court. You know, sometimes you have to have a certain mindset when you go on that court. You know, you have to have a mindset when you go on that field. And off that field and court, you're a whole different person.
Yeah. And most people don't get a chance to, and so I can't completely blame fans on one end, but then on the other end, like you said, you got to take that into consideration because it's double-edged sword where you see what you see on like you said, on the floor and on the field, and that's one thing. But the flip side of that, that's the only opportunity fans get to see of guys. So in their mind, that's the first and the last impression because they don't get a chance to hang out with them dudes. So it's a double-edged sword sometimes, but I get both ends of the spectrum.